Well, greetings, drum corps fans. How are you? Okay, coming out of here a little bit later than I would have liked after the show, but we're going to do a quick recap of the Broken Arrow drum corps show for DCI corps the other night. In competition was Zephyrus, Blue Knights, Blue Stars, Carolina Crown, Boston Crusaders, the Cavaliers, the Santa Clara Vanguard, and the Blue Devils and Bluecoats. Quite a lineup and a lot of people meeting each other for the first time this season. So we're gonna get right into it. I only have like a 10-minute limit on my videos because I have so few subscribers and I'm brand new and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna kind of blaze right along here as best I can. Zephyrus, first time I've ever seen this group. Pretty small. They only had 11 horns, but what I really liked about it is for one of these smaller groups, typically they're really overloaded in the percussion area, and not the case with this corps. Yeah, they had more percussion than they had brass, but not a tremendous amount more. And the guard size was also a good size. They really start the show pretty nicely with some good drill of pinwheels with the horn line and the rest of the corps even. And they do quite a few of them. Very effective right in the front. Pretty cool. Nice little opening for a small corps like that. Basically, they had, nice solos, and they had a trio in the ballad. They did very nice job with that. And I don't know how new this corps is, but again, I think this was the first time I ever saw them. So nice little job. Definitely within, their show is definitely within their range as far as difficulty and such, which is good to see also. So maybe hopefully they could build things up and just get better and better each year, more experience and all that good stuff. Next up was the Blue Knights, and believe it or not, I've been missing the show title up until the other night, which is Vibe, right, is the name of the show. So real nice visual moment coming out of the top side one corner of the field, and they kind of spread that out. They have the props, which are basically big round discs that they form in the shape of the famous button pattern on the Blue Knights' older uniforms. And speaking of uniforms, it's great to see them with a full uniform. It looks really nice and sharp, clear and cut. You can see things very nicely. But yeah, as they develop out of that top corner, very nice, big hit. Crowd really enjoyed it. Gave them a great response for their first big hit. Also, they have like a jazzy section sort of on the second tune, and the crowd really responded to that as big time. Again, guys, my commentary is mostly on music and such, because that's kind of what I pay attention to most. I was a horn player back in the day. So, that's why, again, I'm sorry if you want more color guard stuff. I'll try to get a little more on those other areas and visual stuff as the season progresses here a little bit more. So, so basically the only thing I would say overall for them, which just seems odd, is they just seem loose from a music ensemble standpoint. They're not as snappy clean. I don't expect them to be super snappy clean. It's only, July, whatever it was, 18th or 19th or something. But, they just seem very loosey-goosey. So I don't know. They're kind of maybe fighting in the back of the pack at this point. We'll see what happens in San Antonio when they meet everybody. So the only other thing I'll say about the props, they're quite minimal, and they reposition them quite well throughout the show. It's not distracted at all. And I also noticed they had about 10 blanks in the corps. So I don't know if they're getting hit with some COVID issues or not. But yeah, it looked like they had at least 10 blanks out there. Next show was the Blue Stars. And again, slowly, this show is starting to grow on me a little bit. I mean, the talent of this corps is really good, and I think they're really on a rise here. Shows of War and Peace. Still think they should make some changes to this. I hope they do give us some more pop, more impact points in the show. They certainly have the corps to do it. I mean, they got a great big guard. I mean, they are kind of getting things together and trying to, figure out a very difficult guard book. Very tricky material to work with. But, I mean, with the big brass line, the big guard, and a decent percussion section, they should really give us some more wow moments, which they don't really have at this point. And I can't say it enough, the baritone and trumpet soloists are just money. Spot on. I mean, I've heard them 2 nights in a row last weekend, and I heard them the other night, and we heard them in, other parts of the other recordings. It just, every time they just kill it. So bravo to them, the baritone and trumpet soloists. This also, the horn line does spend a lot of time moving and playing at the same time, which is nice, and spread out, which is good to see also. So really, really effective there. And also there's a moment at the very end of the show. It's quite nice as the guard pulls up some, on all flags, some beautiful bright like orange, red type flags, and ends the show pretty strong. So very good. Next corps was the Carolina Crown, and their show is, of course, we've heard it 100 times, Right Here, Right Now. And let me start with that, of kind of an odd comment, but I really think, and a lot of other people are saying on some of the forums, they really have to back down how many times they use that clip of Right Here, Right Now. And it's just too many times, right? Maybe 4 times would be enough, right? I think it's at least 6. It may even be more, because at the very end of the show, the whole corps says it a couple times. So yeah, I wish they would back that down. Maybe they will. They made some changes already. So really, big moment from all sections, right pretty much at the beginning of the show. Drum line, horn line, guard, making a great statement. Pit is really good as well. I didn't really notice much of them until the other night when watching. And then the bass drum line is interesting. They feature them a couple times, and they do a heck of a job. They got some pretty neat licks going on in the bass drum line. And the soloist and trumpet soloist in the ballad, excellent, truly excellent, beautiful tone and sound. Also spot on every time I've heard it. And basically, really a super energetic, exciting finish to the show. Maybe they'll make some changes to it even, but they got the biggest crowd reaction of the night for sure. On next is the Boston Crusaders. So their show, I believe it's Paradise Lost, if I got that right. I'm afraid I may get some of these things wrong, but yeah. Opening statement overall, drum and brass, very aggressive. And that's very, actually reminiscent of Santa Clara Vanguard from older days when, you know, they come out blazing. And also, from a dissonance standpoint, the show, a lot of it reminds me of the Blue Devils from 2010, if you look that one back up. Just a lot of dissonance in this Boston Crusader musical book. The section with the trombone feature is definitely fun. They kill it every time. And, you know, I hope maybe they'll even add something to that, too. They don't need to, but it certainly, you know, is a very effective moment. Again, they just sound a lot more like the Vanguard than, a little bit like the Blue Devils in spots toward the end than they do the Boston Crusaders. So quite a different vibe and sound from them this year compared to some of the other recent shows. So next up is the Cavaliers. Obviously, great to see them back on the field, competing again. They still had a couple blanks, but basically they look like they're pretty much all back and healthy. That's awesome. And really, honestly, I have a note here about, I got to talk about the trumpet soloist, being a trumpet player myself. The high notes, it's just amazing, right? He's the guy with the blonde hair or whatever, and glasses, I believe. So a lot of fun. He never misses. He's right there every time, and it just adds that extra to the statements when he cranks into those high notes. Finishing statement with the music, drill, and guard all comes together very nicely, and the guard overall looked pretty decent. And they have a funky section of music, sort of toward the second half of the show. Excellent job. They just sold it, and the crowd definitely responded. No doubt, and there was a big push to the end, and the crowd reaction, believe it or not, maybe I fell apart a little bit at the end there. The crowd reaction wasn't all that strong at the end, surprisingly. I don't know how I'm going to get through 3 chords in 1 minute, but we're going to try. Okay, Vanguard. Very start of the show is, you know, nice, but again, very dissonant too. Actually, that was the comparison I wanted to make. I apologize. They sound a lot like the 2010 Blue Devils, this year's Vanguard, musically. Nice hit in the ballad. Definitely a strong moment. It's going to be an excellent moment all season long, probably a classic. And then the marching actually was quite sloppy in spots. I was a little surprised. Sorry we're rushing through at this point, guys. Anyway, Blue Devils, Tempest Blue. I haven't seen them in a while, so they made some changes. Really nice opening statement. Amazing. Again, the piccolo trumpet soloist, she is just off the charts, amazing. definitely keep an ear out for that. They had a rough color guard run at the Broken Arrow show, and even the trombone soloist missed a couple of notes there at the end of the ballad, so not the best run for them, and I wasn't exactly really agreeable to the big spread they had between them and the second place score, which of course was the Bluecoats. So anyway, good crowd reaction at the end, but not as much as crowd reaction. Bluecoats. Riffs and revelations, they're getting more confident with this show. The transitions are getting smoother, and it's starting to get some momentum. They have the finale of the show in, which is excellent. And the guitar soloist, as much as I really not a big fan of that kind of thing, it fits the show, and he kills it, and it's not overbearing, and they bring the crowd to a rousing response every time he's done with a solo in that tune at the very end. Really comes nicely. And again, the ending is very nice, good changes. They're going to be right there in the thick of it for sure. So that's it, folks. Sorry we kind of rushed a little at the end there. Hope you got some things out of there you can keep an ear and an eye out for. That's really why I do these recaps. You say, oh, I didn't notice that, I didn't hear that, I didn't see that. That's why we do it. So with that, we will talk to you later. Cheers.